All right, today we're going to show you a nice Brown & Sharpe. This is a 14 by 40 U. That means it's got 14 inches of swing by 40 inches of travel. So that could fit a lot of different parts. This is a universal machine. As you can see here, we've got this fold down ID grinder, ID spindle, which gets put back up above when you're not using it. And of course, you've got your external grinding wheel. Your headstock here has a swivel base, so you can put this on several different angles. And your top plate here, swivel plate, also has quite a bit of adjustment for taper and grinding tapers. So it's got a buck, 4-jaw buck chuck. This looks to be about 8 inches in diameter. We'll check that on our website. Looks to be a 14-inch grinding wheel. So this is hydraulic. This has automatic incremental infeed on the left side, on the right side, and on both sides. It has a variable speed for the workhead. You can adjust that from there. One of the unique things about a Brown & Sharpe is that they have this selector dial here with your infeed. And you can select internal grinding or external grinding. And you still turn the hand wheel in the same direction, which is actually counterclockwise on these. But in the external grinding mode, when you turn the hand wheel counterclockwise, your grinding wheel moves in. But when you select internal grinding here and turn this counterclockwise, the spindle or slide now moves backwards, so that you grind at the back of the bore when you're holding your workpiece. And when you're external grinding, it's just the opposite. So most grinders don't have that. If it's a dedicated grinder, like a Bryant or a Heald, everything works in that direction. But these machines do that mechanically, and it's pretty neat. There's also a coarse feed here. So if you wanted to race this wheel head back and forth, because when you use this, you're going to be a lot closer than when you're using that. Also, you have a two ratio hand wheel. This is the coarse, and there's a knob here you pull out, and then you have a very fine. Okay, so basically you've got your start the machine, you've got your speed selector for your workhead. You can select internal or external grinding. You've got your left feed, your right feed, and the amount of feed, and left and right dwell. So I'm going to go ahead and start this up. The infeed hand wheel also, as you rotate this here, it's got a dead stop. It's got a little lever in here that you can pick up, and as you rotate this clockwise, this is going away from me. As I rotate it counterclockwise, it's coming into me. Okay, so we're going to start it up. What's going to happen is the hydraulic pump is going to come on, and the grinding spindle is going to turn on. So that's our workhead. We can adjust the speed of that here. Okay. This is your tailstock. Uses a Brown & Sharpe number 12. Brown & Sharpe taper. We start our table oscillation. This automatically gets disengaged. Now if you wanted to start your automatic infeed, you start here, and you see that we feed. Now that's feeding about 1/1000. That's a lot of feed right there. You can go from about 3/1000 down to 1/10 in that increment, the adjustment, the amount you can set here. Okay, so when you want to stop the feed, you just stop that, and then you back your wheel back up to your starting position. You want to open this up. This is your table speed here. These are nice machines, Brown & Sharpe. You've got a cross-feed hand wheel with a center ring and a dial here. When you pull this out, you've got some planetary gears, and you make your you make your setting in there, up against the dead stop. So you would have this at 0, check your part, go back out, come back in, and you could just pull this out and just make a tiny little adjustment and put it back in. And then the next time you come back to this position, you're going to take that much more off or that much less off. So this is moving along real slow, real nice. They reverse nice. They don't get hung up. This stops everything. This wheel slide in the back here is special also. It swivels around in almost 180 degrees or maybe even 360 degrees. But aside from that, it's got an eccentric over here. Right now, it's basically set up in the neutral position. This is like a big offset. So if you wanted to move this slide as far back as possible, you would have this at the front, which would move the wheel all the way to the back. These three slides all move together when you loosen it up. Or if you wanted to be as close as you could possibly get, if you were grinding tiny little pins with a small wheel, you'd want this portion to be facing the front of the machine. So like right now it's in neutral position. It's not all the way forward, it's not all the way back, it's in the center. But it does this. Well, the bottom plate does that and it moves the wheel head back and forth. This is your coolant tank over here. And here is your hydraulic controls, all your hydraulic valves and stuff that run the grinder. This has a live and a dead spindle on the work head. When you want to lock the spindle, which you don't want to do when you have a chuck on, you would rotate this until this pin drops in, and you would have this mounted on. And this is very good that this comes with this. This chuck would come off, and this face driver would go on there. It's got different things. You put your center in there, and now you're not turning the spindle itself. You're just turning the outer drum. That's what they call a dead center. That's more accurate. This is a live center because we're turning this chuck. So that's good to have. You've also got 4 2-point steady rests that fit the grinder. You've got a 3-point steady rest, and you've got the dresser that mounts on here, and you can use it to dress either your internal grinding wheel or your external grinding wheel. And as a matter of fact, if you wanted to go from the internal grinder, the ID spindle, I'm going to switch this over here to external. And now when I start it up, we have just the external spindle going. So that's it. That's the Brown & Sharpe. This is 440 volts, 3-phase. This is a Brown & Sharpe 1440U. Thank you very much.